Gungrave is the perfect case study on the consequences of prioritising style over substance. Marking one of the shortest, shallowest shooters to appear on the PS2, it tried to cash in on the fever-pitch popularity of the likes of Devil May Cry, which birthed a litany of combo-focused hack and slashers. In fairness, Gungrave puts more of a focus on shooting than using a bladed weapon, somewhat separating it from the pack. But like the overweight coffin the protagonist carries, the game has too many burdens weighing it down. It's almost impossible to scrape any enjoyment out of it, even if you're looking for a game to switch your brain off to. Gungrave follows Grave, an undead gunslinger who is revived after being removed from a syndicate of assassins with lethal force. Now, with his reviver Dr. T and a young girl he must protect called Mika, Grave sets out to decimate anything in his path by shooting, slamming them with the casket attached to his back, and other stylish methods. It has some attractive anime cutscenes at several key moments, but the story is mostly dressing on top of the meat of the game, the constant barrage of action and gunplay. You can occasionally pull some dialogue out of characters between missions, but it's pretty staid. It certainly doesn't outstay its welcome, but Gungrave lacks any semblance of narrative involvement. Across 6 stages, Gungrave doesn't really have any grand objectives or flashy design. Usually, you're tasked with going through the level, destroying anything in your path until you reach a boss and battle them. Grave has dual-wielded pistols, as well as a melee attack using his casket and a special move. This ties into the beat system. As you hit both enemies and objects in the environment, a combo begins to form, which, as it increases, rewards you with special meter to perform a handful of screen-clearing attacks, as well as restore health. At the end of each stage, you are graded on a multitude of factors, ranging from completion time and kill percentage to stylish kills and remaining health. It follows in the same vein as games like Devil May Cry, but far more stripped down, with a greater focus on the shooting rather than the slashing. The problem is that there just isn't a whole lot to it. The shooting devolves into button mashing until everything in the room is dead. Grave can perform other actions which, in theory, will earn more style points, but it's so unclear how to utilise these that you're better off slow walking. The shooting isn't the most intuitive either, as while you can lock onto specific targets, Grave's hulking mass means he's clunky to move. But with a shield system in place, allowing you to avoid damage with a recharge and defense, the game's an absolute cakewalk, even on harder settings. The only challenges come from the bosses, who dwarf Grave in size and often use high power attacks that are harder to avoid, but they can still be felled with determination and skillful dodges. You can also blow through Gungrave's 6 stages in less than 2 hours. Now, this isn't inherently a disaster. Resident Evil 2, for example, could be finished in 2.5 hours, but uses its environment to encourage multiple plays. Red Entertainment were clearly trying to ape arcade shooters, but Gungrave is sorely lacking in replay value. You can up the difficulty, flick through options to add cheat-style buffs like infinite demolition shots, and explore figurines of characters from the game, but otherwise, this would have been lightning short for a rental, let alone a full-price release. It's completely poor value for money. Gungrave does sport a distinctive and impressive visual style, one which stood out in 2002. Thick black lines shaping the environment, colourfully shaded characters, and anime-style cutscenes all look straight from the pages of a manga, but it also sports some impressive destructible environments and interactivity. The levels border on the bland side, with the generic gambit of sewers, underground subways and nightclubs, but it doesn't spoil the eye-catching visuals. The sound, on the other hand, is poor. It's hard to really gauge the quality of the music because the overpowered and droning pistol shots drown out almost everything else, rendering the sound design more like a monotonous beating drum. The cutscenes stick with the Japanese voice work at least. Its intense immensely stylish visuals were lauded to the point of actually spawning an anime series, Gungrave falters when it comes time to start shooting. On a basic level, it's functional enough and will please those looking for mindless action, but it also serves as one of the shallowest and shortest shooters to come out of this generation, with stripped down mechanics and a lack of replay value, leaving it feeling bare bones. Anyone thinking of going into Gungrave in the hopes of finding their next big shooter will be better off looking elsewhere.
やりてえならかかってこい。腹ごなしに遊んでやる。墓場へ U ターンだグレイブ。